Iowa.
From high school to international wrestling, on the mat and beyond, this is the Potentially Dangerous podcast with the guys from IA Wrestle.
If you're a fighter, you like a fight. If you're an American, you like a fight. If you're an Iowa Hawkeye, you know you're going to get a fight.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and all your podcast-friendly apps. And follow us on social media platforms at IA Wrestle. Time to strap it up and get to the show. Welcome back to episode 115 of Potentially Dangerous. Not live on Facebook this week, but Ross Bartachek, Tony Hager here coming at you. We're breaking down the U.S. Open, juniors, seniors. This is a big weekend, obviously, for freestyle. We actually have a guy from IRSL wrestling out there right now. I don't know how the heck he's done, but I mean he's threw his hat into he's either in the Masters or the Veterans or something. But Jason Clark is out there representing IRSL right now.
Yeah, he's not the only Simpson guy out there too, is he?
Nate Hansen's out there. The head coach is out there competing.
Did you see on Twitter that he might have won at 62 kg, whatever division, Masters, Veterans? I think it was Veterans.
I haven't. He brought home a stop sign? I
think Simpson Storm Wrestling Club tweeted that he won.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. I remember back in the day going to Luther Team Camp, and he was my camp counselor there, and I mean, he was intense. So I can believe it that, I don't want to call him an old dude, but you know, even in his old age, he's like still out there scrapping. I entirely buy it just from what I remember of him.
Well, he beat Matt Robertson at the Corn Cob Nationals. In a controversial match, whatever side you're on, but I mean, he's in his 30s, so I mean it's not easy to get on the mat and compete. So congrats to him for bringing a stop sign home. Damn, I mean I can't. First off, how the hell is Nate Hansen getting down to 62 kilograms? Yeah, I think he was like in this 160s range. I mean, that's a pretty healthy cut for somebody that's not even competing, just coaching. And anyways, but
well, his athletes can't have any excuses anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that because you know if you're trying to set an example, the coach is out there competing, and you're not. If you're sitting at home, you know, just relaxing, I think coach is out there setting an example. So pretty impressive, no doubt, by him. Obviously, we will have all the results coming up on our website as they kind of roll in. It's a big weekend. But let's get to the juniors, some names that are going to be in there. Obviously, one of the biggest names sticks out to me right away at 57 kilograms, Alex Thompson. Dot see Brody Teskey at this weight class. I was kind of hoping that we would, but Alex Thompson at 57 kilograms. The Portillo brothers are there. What kind of, I mean, as far as expectations, you know, Alex Thompson, though, for you, I guess, what are your expectations going to this tournament and think how he can do?
I mean, he's got to be in the conversation to win it, I would think. I mean, going back to last year at the Junior World Team Trials, I thought he was, didn't he make the junior national team? I know you were out there in Omaha. I thought he maybe placed third.
I think he lost early, then he battled back for third.
Yep. So, I mean, he was on the national team a year ago and at the same weight as Dayton Fix, who's world champ. So, this is a weight that's probably going to be stacked down the road, kind of depending on how that seniors shakes out with Fix and Spencer Lee both still eligible. But as far as U.S. Open goes, I think Alex Thompson's that dude.
I don't know why Teskey's not there. I mean, I haven't heard what's going on. I mean, it's Penn State. When I reached out to him, I don't know, probably 3 weeks ago, just to find out where he was going to be competing this summer, he just said, I have no idea what my next event's going to be. Like, I don't even know if he's going to go to Fargo.
Well, he was kind of weird about that. You know, maybe weird's not the right answer, or question. God dang it, not question. Way to put it. But he didn't do Fargo last year either, and it was just kind of like odd, you know. So I mean, I guess I can believe it. I wish we knew what Brody Teskey's plan was. I feel like that's always talked about a lot. These coaches have a plan, and I never know what Brody Teskey's is.
Yeah, the plans are always changing, it seems like. But obviously, Alex Thompson's going to be the guy to watch there, I think. And 61 kilograms, I'm pretty interested to see how Austin Gomez does. He, I think, should have made the team last year, and I think he got screwed out of a call at the team trials out in Nebraska. You know, he's had some head injuries. He had a concussion this year, so we didn't get to see him at a lot of opens. That's the name that you got to look for. I think at 61 kilograms is a pretty good favorite.
He'll definitely, like you said, I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be in the thick of it. I think that the Cornell, they don't redshirt at Cornell, but the redshirt from Cornell, Vitale Araju, he's obviously pretty solid. So I think he was the one that gave Gomez a good match last year. So he's obviously going to be in the consideration. I saw Little McKee, Pat McKee is in there. But Gomez is definitely going to be in a position to win the Open, and maybe in the position to make the team next month. That's another way you get that circled.
65, I think Michael Blockus is a guy that I think we could find out if he's on these college guys' levels, like Cannon Storr, Tristan Lara, Max Murin. Just as far as in-state goes, you know, Michael Blockus right there is a guy that obviously could make some noise. Who, you know, we've known that he can do that at some of these big events. I think that's probably the name to look for at 65 as far as the storyline goes.
Storyline for sure. I think I heard that Ian Parker, he was listed in the field. I don't think he's going anymore. Just kind of what I heard at least. But obviously, Cannon Storr was a guy that was right there at the World Team Trials last year, right there at the Junior Open. He'll be in the thick of it. And I think, if you're an Iowa fan, you want to see what Max Murin can do. Obviously, Vince Turk came on really strong at the end of the year, had that good run at NCAAs. But Murin kind of looked like he was probably the best guy during the season. So that's going to be the big battle in the lineup next year. So I'm kind of wondering to see what Murin can do if he can make a run. I don't know if he'll make the team or win the Open, but how good will he do? What kind of wins will he pick up?
So 70 kilograms, David Carr, incoming guy that's going to be at Iowa State. Big name, obviously, there. Guy who I haven't watched wrestle for a while, Shuck. That's a name that obviously wrestle guys love. He's always been good to our website. Axmir, don't know a ton about him anymore. Just haven't heard that name for a while. 74, K. Lara. K. Lara is I don't know a ton about him freestyle wise at 74 kilograms, so I'm not sure what his chances are. Another guy that we've been looking to get to get more matches, Marcus Coleman. That's a guy that Iowa State's depending on next year to, get a spot in the lineup up at 79 kilograms. Was he an All-American his senior year at Fargo, Marcus?
I don't think he was, but he's obviously kind of a guy that, like Austin Gomez, is pretty essential to this Kevin Dresser rebuild. Another guy at 79, what I think is interesting is Austin Yant. He was registered at 86. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I saw Panther Wrestling Club put out a tweet today that he's 79. So, I know Drew Foster looking to, he's going into his senior year, and I know UNI doesn't have a lot of depth at 184, so that's kind of why I was circling to see what Yant can do. When he committed, he told you in his interview that, he wants to wrestle somewhere between 165 and 184, and obviously there's going to be an opening. New's going to take over that, not this coming, but the next season. So Austin Yant, circle his name, see what he does this weekend.
This is a guy that his senior year just kind of bursted onto the scene, right? I mean, he caught our eye.
Yeah,
Did he win the Cheesehead, or what was that tournament that just kind of sprung board his senior year?
Yeah, he might have won that, and then he gave Brands a huge big match where he had that late comeback at state in the semis, I think it was. And then he won postseason nationals.
Yep.
I think him and Zach Barnes both got national titles. I mean, that was just kind of a strong end of the year, his senior year for him.
So up at 92, Jacob Warner, big name obviously from Iowa. Hawkeye fans are excited to see what he has. I think they know what they've got for him on the freestyle side of things, but folk style, I think it's people that are going to be at this weight class. Obviously, it'd be a good test for him. Hunter DeJong, he wrestles better in the summer, I think. This is a tournament I think that he does better at Greco, does that side of things. Up at heavyweight, 125, I guess you could say Costello and Gremmel. Those are two guys that I think are going to struggle to find the lineup, I guess. Maybe Gremmel will. Costello, I'm not sure when he's going to be able to find the line, find a spot. Cassiope coming in. But Gremmel could be the next guy for Iowa State. He's been kind of grinding there, not making a bunch of moves for Iowa State, but he's just kind of been lingering, right? So maybe this could be a tournament. He's got a Fargo national title underneath his belt. It's been a while since that's happened, but we know that he can compete on the freestyle side of things. So what are your thoughts, I guess, in these upper weight classes?
Yeah, I think it's Jacob Warner's world at 92. Interested to see what, like you said, Hunter Young, he does really good in the summer. He's a Greco guy. He was on the Pan American team, did pretty well for the U.S. last year. So he's doing both styles. That'll be fun to watch. And then Gremmel's probably the favorite at 125. He's always kind of gotten the better of Costello. So he's probably, he's got the edge between our in-state guys there. And I think he can contend for this open title. I think maybe Neville's, one of the Penn State Nevilles. I don't know if it's the incoming. It's got to be the incoming one, I guess. Might be going there too. So it'll be some good competition. And like you said, he might be the guy at Iowa State. So this is kind of like, if you want to make a breakthrough, this is where a lot of people do it, is in the summer and on this junior circuit.
Well, let's so enough about the juniors there a little bit. The seniors.
Can I get into just something I wanted to get your thoughts on?
Yeah.
For seniors, what do you make of all this? Like Thomas Gilman accepts Final X invite.
Yeah, let's get to that. As we go into the seniors here, I think it's just it's another way to build up the Final X. That's what it is, I guess. What are the chances of somebody turning down a Final X, right? If you have the opportunity, you're gonna do it. I think it's just with the Flow and the USA Wrestling collaboration, they're saying, get as much content out there as possible. The Final X SEO on search engines. There's reasons for everybody to do certain things, right? You can engage fan bases with press releases. So if you can create a press release, maybe Iowa Hawkeye wrestling fans, college fans might not know Thomas Gilman has this opportunity. Maybe it's just more an opportunity to explain the Final X, which is very confusing. USA Wrestling put out a preview for the U.S. Open this weekend, and I felt like it confused me even more. Like, what I think it is, like, she completely changed it to make it sound like it wasn't really what was going on. Based off what I've been told, I understand it, but then USA Wrestling came out with this preview, and then I was just confused all over again.
Yeah, I feel like it's straight promotion, and like you said, who's going to turn down their invite to Final X? And I guess you're right. There's a lot of marketing for USA Wrestling and Flow. It probably makes sense to keep that in the forefront what they're doing. But, do we really need 20 press releases telling us that, or I guess, how many world medalists is there? 17? Is that? I can't remember. 17 is probably way too many. Anyway, there's way too many world medalists to do a press release for every single one. There's 7 men, senior men, isn't there, or something? It's unreal we're going to put out a press release for every single one. It's not breaking news. I mean, it's just kind of like, oh, really? Like, I tweeted out a GIF yesterday from dodgeball, the Pepper. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how this plays out for him. Because, who's going to turn it down? It's just ridiculous. And I also don't get the argument that the U.S. Open is more appealing now.
I don't think so either. You win an NCAA title. You're in the World Team Trials. Like, what's the Open? I don't think it's more attractive than it was before. I think it's just another tournament that you can get, recognized, I guess.
Yeah, and the thing I don't get is the argument, like people that want to have it both ways too, where they say the U.S. Open's more appealing now because of Final X, but at the same time, when they explain what Final X is, it's the exact same thing except for finals are just on another date in another location. So is it pretty much the same thing? So why is the U.S. Open more important, or is the U.S. Open more important? Which I don't think it is. I think it's, like you said, if you want to go to the World Team Trials and you're not in college anymore, you pretty much have to qualify through the Open. I mean, there's, 12 spots, 12 automatic spots qualified for World Team Trials, and 7 of them come from the Open. So obviously it's going to be important no matter what if you want to make a world team. It was important last year and it's important this year. It's the same amount. If you want to make a world team, pretty much got to go to the U.S. Open.
Yeah, the same importance is on both same events. I think it boils down to, an entity has more of a say or more promotional off of an event that they're going to say, well, this is the best event ever. Like, that's just what you do. Obviously, we would do the exact same thing. So I think that's where kind of maybe those words are coming from. But either way, I hope the Final X thing worked out for them. I feel like right now attendance is gonna. I just feel like it's just a lot for clubs. I mean, especially like Tight Mercury Wrestling Club, who sponsor a ton of athletes and coaches to travel, stay, all these different places. I mean, their budget just went way up. I think it actually promotes more people to stay home and watch it than to actually travel and be in the stands, which we all know who that benefits. So I think it decreases attendance, increases viewership online.
That's probably, you're probably right. If you're a casual fan, and you wanted to see Kyle Snyder and you live in Iowa, I guess Kyle Snyder might be in the Omaha one, but if you want to see David Taylor, you're not going to be able to drive. You're not going to drive to State College. It's going to be a lot more financially, against you. Whereas the World Team Trials were always pretty much in the Midwest. They've always been, like Wisconsin. They were in Madison. Trials are in Iowa City. Last year they were in Lincoln. It's always been pretty local. And I know that favors this fan base, but there's a reason why they keep the Olympic trials in Iowa City is because people show up. And it's just, I don't know. I'm sure the actual wrestling portion of it might be better. I don't know how much it really increases the benefit of our team, especially considering we just won a world team title for men. Our women's program is really strong. And I don't think Final X applies to Greco, and Greco's kind of our only program that's struggling. So I don't really see a huge benefit. Maybe it does, but at the end of the day, Final X, it might be a good thing, but I really just don't see the hype behind it. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I just don't see why it's the greatest thing ever. It just seems like another weekend. 3 weekends, but. anyway.
Well,
US
let's get to the Open of who we think are going to come out. 57 kilograms, I think, has 3 or 4 people that can win this weight class. I think looking back, you have to go with Tony Ramos. He just has been so good at the U.S. Open. He hasn't competed in a while, so he's had a lot of rest. I can't believe he's back down to 57 kilograms. Obviously, he's been wrestling 61. Dayton Fix being there. I wish Spencer Lee was there too, I guess. Who are you taking at 57?
I think you go with Tony Ramos. I mean, it's going to be hard for me to pick against a lot of these number ones, but I think it's Ramos because he's got that clutch gene. He's undefeated domestically except for his fellow Hawkeye Wrestling Club guys. And he's just he's been dramatic at this event the last 2 years with his comebacks and wins. So I think he's the guy. Kind of also disappointed that NATO won't be there. He just posted today that he wrestled all year with a torn ACL. I don't know if you saw that.
Who was?
NATO. He said
wow.
He tore his ACL back at the U23 trials. And he wrestled all year because he didn't want to give up his senior season at Ohio State. I mean, what he did was impressive. I mean, he beat, he looked like the number one guy coming into to NCAA. So, just kind of crazy he won't be there. Kind of a little hurts the depth here, but I think that's just going to set up that collision course of Ramos Fix. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think that can set up a rivalry, which I think at the end of the day will be Spencer Lee, Dayton Fix. I think if Ramos doesn't make a world team this year, he's done. I think he's done. I just don't see how he can keep on going. Well, he's got a ton of sponsors. And the kid can sell freaking sponsorships. I mean, he does a really good job at that.
Yeah, he's trying to get sponsored by Mountain Dew and Reese's now. I saw.
Yeah, he knows how to market himself. I'd like to see Corey Clark go down personally down to 57. That would have made this weight class real fun this year. But he's had some injuries, so I think he'll still do fine at 61 kilograms. But you've got Ramos. I think I'm sticking with Ramos too, but I would not be surprised if Dayton Fix really kind of gets Ramos out of his element, though, too. I mean, I think if Dayton Fix can come out there and be more physical than Ramos and just kind of take Gilman's approach, he's going to beat him. And in a where it's not best of 3 too, I think that favors Fix as well.
That's probably a good point.
I think Ramos could learn from a match with Fix and come back and beat him best of 3, but I think Fix is still kind of an unknown, and I think he could, especially since no one's really seen him wrestle all year, we don't know what the hell he's been working on, so that'll be a fun weight class. But 61, and Corey Clark in this weight class, Corey Clark is a guy that has beaten Thomas Gilman multiple times in the freestyle side of things at 57, but at 61, I feel like this is really anyone's weight class. Joe Colon, Kendrick Maple obviously is the favorite going in. Brandon Wright, who had a hell of a U.S. Open a year ago. Nishan Garrett, I feel like he should be the guy, but for some reason he just hasn't broke through. And then obviously Seth Gross, too, who has been great at the age level. So what are your overall thoughts on 61?
I think it's a mess. Like you said, it goes... I think every one of the top 8 seeds should probably be considered, and then you got number 9 seed Corey Clark. I mean, even Cody Brewer. I don't have the preseeds in front of me right now, but Cody Brewer, John Morrison won Bill Farrell, I think, and he's a top seed up there. I think that's just going to be the most fun way. I really want Joe Colon to win. I want him to win this Open so he's already in the best of 3 finals. And I guess since this doesn't have a returning medal, he goes to Final X if he wins. I mean, this one's a pretty big weight to really hit the best of 3 finals and skip that May event, weigh in while everyone else is competing. So I really want to see, as our blood round friends call him, prison strength Joe Cologne, win the U.S. Open.
He just needs. He was so close when he almost at Wisconsin. You and I were at that event. I think that was one of your first freestyle events that you covered.
Yeah.
With our good buddy Stonebreaker. That's another podcast topic, but. Yeah, he was so close then. I think he's just waiting for a breakout. I think his time at Fresno State will be beneficial with him, with working with those guys out there. Nothing against what he was doing at Cedar Falls, but I feel like he's got a lot more better workout partners there. Up at 65 kilograms, this is Stevers to lose. We don't think we got any Iowa guys, right? Who do we got?
Well, the Dardanes. I mean, there's Chris Dardanes is going to be at 61, and then Nick's going to be at 65 too. But Nick's pre-seed at number 6, it looks like.
So Nick's at 65, then you got Joey Laser, I guess, too. But I mean, history repeats itself. Those guys, can win a couple matches, but being in the hunt of things, I think there's not a shot for them to. But Logan Stieber obviously is the guy at this weight class. Joey McKenna is would be kind of fun to throw his hat in the ring there too. Those guys are training this. Yeah. Are they training in the same room or what's going on? Like, he's at Ohio State, but
I would think so. So that's kind of why you would think Stieber would probably be. I mean, McKenna's good, but the fact that Stieber's gotten to watch McKenna a lot, he's going to know his tendencies even better. So that probably favors the veteran a little bit more there.
Well, I didn't know because McKenna wrote down Lehigh Valley Wrestling Club and Stieber is Ohio RTC. So obviously Stieber has had his eye on him during the college practices, but I just didn't know if they were training freestyle off, different campuses. But
I wonder if that's just maybe so like Jeff Buxton could be in his corner. I don't know if it matters who you register with, but anyway.
70 kilograms. James Green's the guy there, but I think Frank Molinaro bumping up from 65 after he lost a spot last year. He'd be the guy, be the shoe-in, right? I mean, up there.
Chase Pammy's always been kind of around. Chamberlain, Hunter Stieber himself. They've always kind of been solid, but not like blow your socks off. And Molinaro, just like you said, I mean, he broke out at 65, and with new weigh-ins, he's going to go up to 70. He's going to be just as big of a beast at 70. So I think, that's his weight.
At 74 kilograms, not a ton of like freestyle firepower, right? I mean, Valamont, Kolchiski, those are like the big names, veterans there, but I think Aymar is probably the guy that everybody will be watching.
Aymar, and I think there's a lot of people starting like that Evan Wick hype train. Can't remember what he finished at NCAAs. I think he took 3rd. So he's, I think, the number 5 pre-seed. So that would put him, he's got Quentin Godley in the quarters, and then you would have Kluchitsky in the semis. But, he could maybe make a run. But I think you're right. I mean, Aymar's the guy a lot of people, I think, want to see come in now that 74's kind of seen an exodus to that new 79 kilo. They want to see somebody else be Jordan Burrell's heir.
I've been hearing some rumors that the Wick boys might be on their way out of Wisconsin.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would they leave, John Reeder? That's cool.
I don't know. I've heard some rumblings. I don't know if they can get a release. I've heard rumors that Nebraska could be. I mean, Nebraska's red hot right now, obviously. I've heard that, the Wick boys could be going to Nebraska. It could be all hearsay. I don't know. I know I always say I don't like to start rumors here, but, I mean, this isn't really Iowa talk, so I feel like the Wick boys might be on their way out. We'll see. I think this weekend will really be a test to whether they are or not, because they move over to Nebraska and, let's say the Wicks, they got Burrows there, they got Green there. I mean, someone's going to have to take over those spots in the future, and the Wick boys might be thinking down the line of who they want to be training them outside of college.
I mean, that's true. It's so insignificant, but bears mentioning they're Titan Mercury boys, obviously. Come from California. Their mom's the director of ops.
She quit. She's not there anymore.
Okay, well, she was.
Yes.
And so they're obviously, I mean, they've been Titan Mercury for as long as they've been around, and Bono, Reader, our Sunkist, I mean, that's probably got to be a bit of a change for them. So I don't know if that, maybe it's not the right fit. I don't know.
Might just be searching for some things just to get out of it, but
right.
Moving up to 79, in my heart, I think we should be talking about Derringer because he does have some good freestyle accolades, but after watching Kyle Dake at the World Cup, I don't see how anybody can challenge him, really.
Right. It's kind of sad, like you said, but this is Derringer's now in the role that Kyle Dake has spent the last 4 years in,
and Taylor.
Yeah, right. He's just kind of like, sorry, man, you're gonna have to wait your turn. Maybe it'll come, maybe it won't. Mike Evans in the mix here. He's got a shot to make the national team. That's a pretty big deal for the 79 weight class. Really, opened up an opportunity for him to keep competing. So,
and he's been training out of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club, right? I knew he was in Iowa City, but has he been training there, or was that just before he was in town for a camp, or what?
Oh, I guess I kind of figured he kind of just came out and did some training. I don't know, how extensive, how long it was, and but I figured he probably came in, get some scrap in him, and obviously out in Campbell. For those that don't really recall what Mike Evans is up to these days, he's volunteer assistant out there. So I figured he's just kind of coming out, getting a little bit of work in, and eventually he probably went back to North Carolina. But
well, let's move up to 86. Trying to keep it to a half hour here. David Taylor, I think those are just the two words you need to know. Same situation with Kyle Dake, waiting for a spot. This is his opportunity to make his first world team. Maybe Pat fun Downey. To watch Pat Downey. I was talking to people last night about that, and today too. He's one of those guys you want to jump on the bandwagon. You want him to succeed, and then he just falls flat on his face on his own, and then you're just throw this guy to the side. But you want to like him and you want him to succeed, but you also hate him. I don't know, there's something about him.
Yeah, all the Iowa fans that hated him with a passion, and then he was maybe going to wrestle for him. So it was he is pretty dynamic. So let's get on board with Pat Downey, and then self-sabotages that he never ends up at Iowa. And, who knows what Pat Downey we see this weekend.
I feel like he's either going to stay out of the club till 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, show up, wrestle, or he's going to win and throw this huge, massive party UFC style and just get in a bunch of trouble and not pass a drug test.
Right.
How's he passing a drug test is what I want to know. Aren't they testing these people at the U.S. Open? There's a reason why Jordan Oliver is not wrestling.
Right.
Didn't pass a drug test.
I have no idea. I don't know, man. That's probably one of the great mysteries of Pat Downey.
Yeah.
Somehow he's competing for the USA wrestling level. I don't know how. I really don't. He's a wizard, I guess.
Can't compete at the college level, but he's competing at the next level, which makes zero sense. Well, at 92, there won't be much competition. It'll be Jaden Cox all day long. With him, him moving up a weight class. Deron Wynn will be there, but he's been training MMA. I just confident little guy, but I just don't think I think he just Bellator might be his spot and just stay away from wrestling. But I like that he's at least thrown his hat in the ring to get that experience, to kind of maybe get people talking about him again. It'll maybe build some hype for him for Bellator. That's what I think it is about, is just building, getting some of those wrestling fans to connect with him, to watch him at Bellator.
And he's fun to watch. So yeah, definitely not a bad guy to have in the mix. But like you said, for me, it's Jaden Cox next topic.
Yeah.
Yep.
97, Kyvan Gatson. You've got Burak is in there, right? Burek's in there.
Burek's number 3. Blaze Cabell's number 5 pre-seed.
Ross Larson is in there too. But I think, Gadsden wrestles really well out in Vegas. I think, outside of him wrestling Kyle Snyder, like, he wrestles really well. Ty Waltz is kind of a sneaky guy too in there too. He's really hard to score on. I think he wrestles similar to Kyvan Gadsden, so I wouldn't mind seeing a Ty Waltz Kyvan Gadsden final. Nathan Burek, Hawkeye Wrestling Club, Iowa fans just I never know what to say about Nathan Burek because I just feel like we're always just wanting expecting more, and we just never get it.
Yeah, he's always he's always in the match. He's always a takedown away, but I think Gadsden actually got him pretty good at last year's U.S. Open, if I remember right. I don't know if they met again at the World Team Trials, but like you said, Gadsden, I feel like he's a solid guy. It's just kind of hard to be second fiddle to maybe one of our nation's greatest wrestlers to come through. So definitely think Cyclone Wrestling Club, which they're a club that really needs some positive momentum. So Kyvan winning the U.S. Open would be pretty big to keep that regional training center buzz going for Kevin Dresser. I think Earl Hall and Durbin are going to be at this event, but Gadsden's the one that's kind of keeping their name in the spotlight.
Yeah, Earl Hall could have an opportunity, but Durbin's not going to be the guy. But yeah, Kyvan Gadsden is the face of that wrestling club. There's going to be some new face. I think if you're a Cyclone fan or RTC guy, you're focusing on your juniors with David Carr and Austin Gomez.
Yep.
Up at 125, Don Bradley. Is he training out of Ames still? I thought he was in Nebraska.
Yeah, he's Husker. Yep.
Yeah, so he's in Nebraska now. This is a fun weight class for me because now you've got Varner in there, former Cyclone, and you've got Gable Stevenson. I don't know what do you think? Varner is just a gamer, dude.
Yeah, I know. Didn't he wrestle heavyweight at the World Cup like 2 years ago?
2 years ago, he wrestled heavyweight.
And now here he is?
No, he was down. Was he a heavyweight?
He had to have been up. There's no way he got down to 86.
He was wrestling down a weight, and then I think he bumped up to 125. I think that's where he was at. I don't remember though, but
yeah, I think he was like a 97, and then he might have weighed in at 97 or something.
I think he was at 97. They needed somebody at heavyweight because Zach Gray is nothing. So they're like, and that was when Turbell was having some back problems. They're like, let's put Varner in there, and he did pretty damn well. But
yeah, I feel like he wrestled the Russian. I might be totally making that up, but Varner's like you said, he's a gamer. So he's interesting to have in here. You mentioned Stevenson. This is a guy this is his first year he's junior eligible. He won a junior world title while he was still cadet eligible. And now here he is considered the number 5 pre-seed on the senior level as a senior in high school. And then you got Adam Kuhn. I think he might be going both styles.
He is.
I love him, dude. He's a competitor. He beat Sam Stoll, and obviously, I got that Hawkeye lean in me, and so I was kind of sad when he beat Sam Stoll for the junior team. But he's fun to watch. He's the only guy that beat Snyder this year. He's kind of interested to see what kind of debut he can make here.
Well, that's kind of our U.S. Open breakdown real quick. I wanted to touch Ross. You got anything else on the Open that you'd like to touch on, I guess?
Nope, that's it.
I want to touch on the conflict at Carver, right? So everyone's seen the tweets and the Facebook messages about, them shutting down the event. I think there's kind of a misconception out there that this is an IE Russell event. The Night of Conflict is 100% an IE Russell event, but we leaned on the Hawkeye Wrestling Club to get the venue, and then they put on the tournament the next day. We just promoted it, and the Hawkeye Wrestling Club could not secure a spot at Carver Hawkeye Arena this year. They were fighting football games and people that have already rented out the facilities. So this year it definitely will not happen. But Night of Conflict will happen. I'm going to find a spot for it. I've already talked to people in Ames. I've talked to people in Des Moines and Cedar Rapids, and everybody's getting me some logistics about what we can get done. So Night of Conflict. I mean, if we had to put it in a high school gym, you're going to put it in a high school gym. It won't be Carver Hockey Arena, obviously, right, Ross? But it might save us a lot of freaking headaches that we had with the Night of Conflict. I mean, we set up Night of Conflict in 20 minutes for an event that did pretty well as far as attendance goes.
You're not being dramatic. You're not being hyperbolic when you say we set up
in 20 minutes.
Night of Conflict in 20 minutes. We literally did that this year.
5:40, right?
Right.
5:40. Doors opened at 6.
We were supposed to get the floor at 5 o'clock, and we got it at 5:40. So.
Well, and we were supposed to get it at noon. Then we were supposed to get it. Actually, we were supposed to get it the night before. Then it was noon. Then it was 5, and then it was 5:40. Either way, Night of Conflict will be happening. We'll figure it out. As far as the conflict at Carver, I've been tossing around the idea of still having a tournament preseason. Preseason Nationals is the end of October. It's going to be moving to Des Moines. If you haven't heard that, Brian Keck is moving that to Des Moines. Is moving it away from UNI, the Unidome. Some people are kind of up in arms about that. I'd be curious to know what you guys think. So, like, comment, tweet us what you think of the preseason Nationals being in Des Moines this year. Are you excited to go? Super 32 is the exact same weekend. So, are you going to have to go to Super 32 now or come to the preseason Nationals in Des Moines? I think it'll be easier to fly in, stay, hang out. There's a lot more to do in Des Moines. Change is always different. You never know how that's going to overturn. But there's also rumors. There might be some changing at Iowa USA Wrestling as far as leadership goes. That's something I'll let you guys just chew on, something to mull around. I've just been hearing some rumors. Hopefully that that news will get out here soon. I'm not really sure exactly what's happening, but I've just been hearing some rumors of that. So, with that said, the U.S. Open, this has been episode 115 of Potentially Dangerous. Hopefully next week we'll be on Facebook Live, 8:30 on Tuesday. This week was my fault, 100%. I'm going to Talladega this weekend, boys and girls. I'm going to be doing things that we probably can't talk about on this podcast, maybe. I don't know. But it's Talladega, Alabama. You know how those folks roll down there. But until next time, Ross Bartachek, everyone else at I Wrestle, I'm Tony Hager. Thanks for listening.
Get low when the whistle goes.